in this lecture, we will study the secondary storage devices. Now, in the last few lectures, we studied the semiconductor memories, which are very fast in speed, but they can't fulfill the required storage capacity of a system because of the limitation of cost per bit of stored information. So large storage requirement of most computer systems are economically realized in the form of magnetic disks, magnetic tapes, and optical disks. So usually these are called as a secondary storage devices. Now in this lecture, we will study the magnetic disks. Now here you can see the magnetic disk structure. Now this is called the plate. One or more platers are connected to the spindle, and these platers, both the sides are coated with the magnetic film, and these discs are placed in a rotary drive so that the magnetized surface move in a closed proximity to the read-write head. You can see here, this is a read-write head. So these surface can come in contact with the read-write head so that this plate is moved with the is rotated with the rotary drive. And the discs rotate in a uniform speed. All the discs will rotate in a uniform speed. And these read-write heads are connected. This is a read-write head arm. And you can see the comb-like structure. This is called the arm assembly. So all the read-write heads. Now, if you see both the sides, these read-write heads are connected. And to sense, to read or write the digital data which is on the surface of the disk. Now here if you see a track, here this line is called the track, and again in the line this box type, this is called the sector, and this is called the cylinder. Now what is this track, sector, cylinder? You will see the organization of data on the disk. Now this is the diagram of the surface of the disk. Now here the data is, the complete disk is divided into concentric tracks. Now this blue, these are called as the concentric tracks. Now here you can see the track 0, track 1, and so on. N number of tracks are there. So, and again these tracks are divided into sector. Now this is a conical form. This is called the sector. Now this is called the sector. This is called the sector. Now this is the sector 0, sector 1, sector 2, sector 3, and so many sectors are there. Now this is about the track and the sector. Now what is cylinder? Set of corresponding tracks. Now here you can see this is the one track, and this is one more track, and this is now like that all the set of corresponding tracks of all surfaces of a stack of disks forms a logical cylinder. Now this is a track, this is a track, this is a track. All the tracks of all the surfaces of disks together is called the logical cylinder or cylinder C. Now this is about the structure. Now how the read-write head will read and write the data, we will see. Now this is the read-write head diagram. This is magnetic yoke. On this yoke, a conducting wire is connected. Now, by applying the current sensing signals, so it will be magnetized. When it magnetized, this tip. Now, this is the tip is connected to the magnetic thin film. So it will write the data onto the plate. And again, for sense also, the same head is used. Now, how the data is stored, we have seen, and what type of data is stored on this sector, we will see. Now, on the sector is nothing, this is a complete track. On this track, now this is called the sector. In this sector, data is stored. So, along with the data, some other bits are also stored. Those bits are called the sector header. Sector head is nothing but a identification information, is nothing but addressing bits. Addressing bits of this sector is called the sector header and data. And along with these two, few more bits are also there. Those are called the error correction code. If the data, while transferring the data, if any errors are occurred, that can be detected and also can be corrected by using the error correction code bits. Now here few more terminologies are needed to be discussed. One is the seek time. The time required to move the read-write head to the proper track. Now if this is the plate or surface, this disk surface, and this is the read-write header, and the read-write header can be moved into and moved out. So to select the proper track, how much time it is taking, that is nothing but a seek time. And similarly, one more term is rotational delay. Rotational delay is nothing but what? Now, for example, this is a sector 0. Now, if we wanted to select the sector 3 track, this is this is a track 0 and this is the track 1. Need to select the sector 3 track 2, then read-write head is here. It can move only radially. It can't move to here. Now to bring this sector under this the read-write header, how much time it takes? That is called the rotational delay or latency time. Time that elapses head is at a correct track until the starting position of the address sector passes the read-write head. So this is about the rotational delay, and both together is called the access time. Now coming to the another term, buffer. Now data buffer. So already in the interfacing circuit we have seen that this is the processor and this is the memory, and here we have a disk drive. This disk drive is connected to the interface circuit, and through the interface circuit is connected to the system bus. Now, whenever the disk drive is transferring the data from the disk drive to the memory or vice versa, that time it will send the data to the interface. In the interface, there are data registers or data buffers are there. Now, these disk drives are slow in speed compared to the processor or memory. To transfer the data at a high speed, now first it will send the data to the data buffers. After loading the data into the data buffers, then the data buffers or interface will send the data to the memory with the speed of the memory. So this is about the data buffers, and these buffers are made up of semiconductor material. So these are semiconductor memories, registers, and with the capacity of megabytes. Now, complete disk system is divided into 3 parts. So part 1 is called platers. These platers are called the disks. Usually we will call all the platers together, we call the disks. And this is the first part. Second part is called the disk drive, which will rotate the platers and also move the read-write headers. Those are called the disk drive. That is the part 2. So first one is the disks. Total platers are called the disk, and the second one is the disk drive, and the third one is a disk controller, which will control the transfer of data from the disk drive to the main memory. So these disk controllers are connected to the system bus. So now here by using this disk controller, the data transfer takes place. This disk controller is also called as a DMA. So the DMA, in a DMA, whatever we have studied, the same operation disk controller is also do. Now here we will see few functions of the disk controller. Now seek means what? The disk controller will select the desired track from where the data transfer should be done. And also it will initiate the read operation at the time of the read, and it will do the write, transfer the data onto the disk. So these two are nothing but what? To transfer the data from or into the main memory is called the called the data transfer, that is done by the DMA scheme. Now here disk controller also will do the DMA scheme. Now what is DMA scheme means what? The processor will load the address and number of words and direction, and after that it will give the bus to the disk controller. Thereby what? Disk controller will transfer the data from the particular track to the main memory. Now coming to the next one, error checking. Already we have seen that in the sector, error checking, error correcting bits are there, error correcting codes are there. So it will compute the error correcting code and the value for the data read from a given sector and ECC value read from the disk. Now by reading these values or by computing these values, if any data error corrections are needed to be done, that will be taken care of by the disk controller. Now the third part is the disk controller. Sometimes these controllers are part of the disk system. Sometimes these controllers are mounted on the outside of the disk controller. So this is about the disk drives.